Fun fact about Jaclyn, she chefed it up for us this week. She dropped off cinnamon buns, vegan, should I say, cinnamon buns, to our doorstep for Adam's birthday yesterday. It was so nice, so thoughtful, meant a lot to Adam, meant a lot to me. So, man, you're the realist. That was so,
you know
so
what?
great.
They were no cinnamon buns, but they were cinnamon buns none the least. Anyways, with that, let's roll the intro. Well, welcome back to Poddy Talk,
The podcast where we shit talk ourselves.
I'm Jack.
And I'm Tor. And today we are in quarantine still.
Another week. We are rolling. We actually we had filmed a few episodes a few weeks ago, so we took last week off. And I was just saying to Tor, I feel refreshed and ready and excited about this episode.
I love that energy. Thank you for bringing that to the table today.
Of course. How have you been doing? Like mental health wise, how have you been surviving?
Yeah, like honestly, I was talking to some people about this yesterday because I feel like I really go through life with like a visor on my head. And by that, I mean, I'm kind of like, I tend to blind myself from the world, like to just keep my mental health in a positive sense.
Yeah.
Which I'm still continuing to do. And so on that, like, I feel totally fine, but I feel like it's because I'm not like absorbing the world right now. I know that sounds bad, but I'm not absorbing
that's a way that people cope with it too. Like you sometimes need to ignore it because then it will get too overwhelming. So I get that.
Have you been seeing on social a lot of creators have been doing this like truth challenge?
Yeah, I have, which actually has been interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Like, and I guess like that's where I start to be like, oh, okay, like this really is like pulling the screen back because like if I say like I'm in a good mental state, I genuinely like mean that. Like I would be honest if I was like, yo, it's just not it. It's not good. But I feel like people are so like either one way or the other. And the truth challenge is really interesting because I feel like typically people that are very sort of like positive or chill or like whatever, like hype bay, chic, like this vibe. And then it's like sort of uncovering that and people being like, yeah, I'm so insecure and like sort of this really interesting dynamic.
I kind of actually have the exact same like idea of that because I was thinking the exact same thing. Like I feel fortunate that I have an audience that I feel comfortable to be fairly honest with. And and to that sense, I never feel obligated to make all these happy stories, and if it's not true, like
I've been if you don't feel good one day, you're just like, I'm not
totally. I don't feel the
stories.
pressure to exactly. So I feel lucky, and I don't know if that's because of the audience or it's just like how I feel within myself. But yeah, I'm not someone who's going to go on and like, oh my God, I'm having the best day ever, when really I'm having an awful day. Like I was actually truth challenge for myself last week. Was all the last half of the week was like super rough for me, and it just kind of like hit me, and I was getting super frustrated with everything. And I think it was just kind of like a trickle, like ripple effect kind of thing. And it just all like hit me at once. And I was like, I had 2 really, really bad days. And for those 2 days, I was supposed to be filming something, and I was like, you know what? I know it's going to read on camera. I'm just not going to do it.
I'm miserable. I can't.
No, literally, I'm like, you can tell, like,
you can totally
there's no
read.
faking it. So, I literally just like didn't film, and obviously I didn't post anything that day. And that's like my truth, and I feel completely fine doing that. So
yeah, and I think that's part of it too, right? Because it comes down to this like productivity competition, and I've seen that on a lot of the posts too. It's like, I feel like I'm not doing enough, or I don't feel like I'm creating enough, or whatever that might be. But I think it goes back to what you just said. It's like everyone copes in different ways. Like I know part of my coping mechanism as a human, and it always has been this, is busyness. Like I'm a busy bee. Like I feel better when I'm busy. I feel better when I'm being productive. So I can't just like play video games for 5 hours where like to someone else, that's how they cope and that's how they like feel good.
My mom says this to me all the time. Like I had called her last week because I was having a bit of a rough week, and I was like sharing my frustrations.
Yeah.
And she's like, Jack, like you realize it's okay to just like be on the couch and like watch movies all day. And like, I'm like, that is my like not worst nightmare. Like, I mean, obviously I can appreciate it to a degree, but I will come out of that feeling 10 times worse versus just like getting things done.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a catch-22. It's like, I'm going to keep working and stressing myself out, but then if I don't do it, then I'm going to be stressed that I'm not doing it. So it's like, I don't know. Sometimes it's hard, but I know what you mean. It depends on your personality type. And I feel like we're very similar in that sense, where we're so used to being busy. And I always think too, it's like, this is actually kind of like so sad to say, but it's like, is it because I'm busy that I feel so happy and I'm like doing okay? Cause like I have all these distractions. And then when it like slows down, I'm like, oh God. And then I get in my head and like, then I start to feel unhappy. Is it like, is that really sad when you think about it? It's like, oh, I can't actually just be still and be by myself. But it's like, no, I think I put outward value on things like whether it's friends, social events, being busy, travel, all those things. So I don't know, but it definitely does make me like sit and realize.
I was chatting with someone about this yesterday, and it's so true because she was saying, she's like, I find it really interesting that I tie myself so deeply to my work. And I was confused by that because I was like, well, what do you mean? Of course you're going to be tied to your work. That's what you're spending the majority of your day doing. Like that's what you're investing your time, money, effort. Like that's it. And she's like, yeah, but my fear is one day, like if that job were to go away or if that position were to go away or if that specific, like, you know, like like what I call my identity, that position in my job disappears, then who am I? And I was like, oh, that's like true. Like, I don't know.
It is. Yeah, I get that. And then it makes me, I wonder, is it just because majority of my time is being spent by it? So that's why I think about it. So much, that's why I'm invested because I care about it. I'm doing it all the time. Or is it, I'm so tied to that I'm nothing without that career, that job. And in some ways, I think maybe a little bit of both, but I think you're this way too. Like we're both very like good at rejection / pivoting / changing. And like, if something's not working, we'll try something else kind of thing. So
yeah,
I guess if this was all to go away, like if my job was to change or like, I think I would just redefine myself, and be tied to something else. Like I'm okay to like get the rejection and then move on, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree.
But still be tied to it. But
it is interesting, like how much I think, you know, effort we all put into building this, and everyone does it, whether you're in the social media world or not. Like this conversation I was having with my friend, she's completely not in the digital world. She has no social presence. That's not like it. It was just much more like how she defines herself as a person is like her and her corporate business and like all of these things. And I just think that's so it's true.
Do you think it has anything to do with like the phase of life that you're at? Because I often think I'm like, okay, right now I feel like I'm in my like hustle, like work, grind it out kind of like phase. That's so cringy to say.
I'm in my hustle phase.
I'm in my hustle. Like, you know what I mean? Like I picture like the next 10 years of my life to be like the start of my career. I'm going to really like whatever, put on those extra hours, like grind it out, you know? And then I like to imagine maybe in 10 years, I can maybe chill out a little
back.
Bit. Exactly. Yeah. And then like, who knows? Like, I mean, I've never been, so far I haven't been like a huge like family person, but then maybe that'll be when I'm like, okay, my everything, I'm going to define myself with my family. And like, maybe I'll want to have kids or whatever. So I want to go through those phases of life. Like that's just the timeline of.
Like, potentially. I mean, she's older than me, like the person that I started this conversation with, but she also doesn't have kids. So that could be true. Cause it's not like she's defining herself as like a mother or, you know, anything like that. And maybe that is true. It's like you do, you know, kind of, as Lady Gaga would say, like marry your work. Like it can get to that point where you just feel very attached to it. And I mean, look, it's really hard to make those differentiations too. Like even yesterday was my boyfriend's birthday and I had a deadline and I had to meet it. And I was like, I'm sorry, like I have to shoot this. I will be fast. Like I will be efficient. I'll get it done quickly. But it's like sometimes those like personal and the professional lines like get super blurry. And I think especially when you're self-employed, because you're not necessarily deciding when things need to happen. So I guess all this to say, of course, people are going to tie their identity to their work because it's all so blurry. It's like.
Well, that actually just got me thinking. I was kind of like just internally having a conversation with myself the other day because
good.
Just sitting there talking to myself, playing both parts.
It's like a TikTok scene, but it's just you.
Literally just me with myself. But I was thinking, I was like, oh, like, am I a bad friend sometimes? Like, I was thinking some of my hometown friends were trying to Zoom call and I was like, no, I can't tonight, whatever.
Right.
And I was like, they'll get it. It's work. Like I'm busy. And it's like, at what point does it become such a bad thing that you're so focused on your work? It's like, of course you need to have a healthy balance. And I was like, I always default to, they'll understand, they know it's a work thing. But then it's like, where's the fine line? Because I feel like I've been so far the one way of, I'm just going to focus on my work. That's literally, I have no other distractions. So why not? That's my mentality.
Right.
But then on the flip side, then it's like, bro, if I can't pick up a 20-minute phone call and just like say hi, like, then maybe that's not good as well. And then I always think, well, my friends are always going to be there. Like, but that, I don't know. It got me thinking.
Yeah, I don't think, I mean, it's hard. And I think, again, it just goes back to like priority and like, and balance, I guess, like being able to like choose the moments that you're going to have, you know, shut the work off, like, which is hard. I mean, I think it also specifically is hard for self-employed people more than just a typical 9 to 5. Because you can walk away from that at 5 p.m. and then, like, I know a lot of even our close friends have 9 to 5s, and it's like they can walk away from that and then be at a dinner with friends and shut off and not have to worry about things until they go back the next day. But like, I mean, there's been many of times where I will have to be doing something. Like sometimes our work events are at fucking like 9 or 10 p.m. at night. It's like, I don't decide that. I don't choose when I'm working. So
that's true.
The hats are one. The work and personal
one.
The work and personal hat is the same sometimes.
Well, that was actually a beautiful segue. Thank you for that stunning advice. And speaking of advice, we were actually going to do an advice episode. So we had just posted on our Instagrams. If you don't follow us, go follow us, because we're always asking you questions about the podcast, and you guys can engage and help form what this becomes. So we just asked you guys to send in some questions. We're going to do a little Q&A advice. Maybe we'll see. It's really dependent on what you guys have sent in. But I think we should get going and see.
All right, let me hop in and see what I've got on this side. Okay. All right. How do you get over a breakup when you and your ex are still friends? Oh, that's really hard. I would say stop being friends. Is that what you'd say?
I mean, if you're having if you cannot be friends with someone, if you're having a hard time, then you need to just remove for at least for a moment of your life.
Yeah, I'm like very much someone like, I will lose your number. Like, goodbye.
I think it depends how you broke up with someone. If it was like a very traumatic, like cutting of ties.
No, I think no matter what, you need space. Like, even if it ended amicably, which it definitely can happen. And that doesn't mean you can't be friends in the future. Because I mean, I always say if Adam and I were to break up, we would definitely still be friends. But not right away. Like, lose my number. Don't call me for at least a year. Like, I need some time.
Block, delete on everything, mute if you have to.
Because what ends up happening is you're going to still try to, like, consume them. And I know that sounds weird, but, like, I mean that, like, both digitally and mentally. Like, you're going to be like, oh, are they out? Are they posting? Are they, like, you're just going to be trying to follow their life. And it's like, that's such a waste of time.
Well, and I think with social media in the day and age we are, it's so much harder because you can't ignore it. It's so easy to, okay, I'm just not going to cross paths or not go hang out with that friend group because I don't want to see him.
Totally.
But then if it's like, oh, if I follow you and I'm seeing every day what you're eating for breakfast and then where you're going, it's like, then how can you not think about it?
Control, Alt, Delete. That's
major block.
Major block.
This says, how do I stop procrastinating? LMAO. I feel like that's a very common question right now. For this specific time, I would say embrace it. Embrace the procrastination. If you literally do not feel like doing it, to a degree, depends what it is. I mean, if it's like essential, do it. But if it's like, oh, I'm trying to like try out my creative passions of painting, but I'm like feeling like I'm putting it off, it's like, then maybe it's just like not the time, and that's okay.
Right.
I always feel, especially with any creative work, if like the fire isn't there, then I just know it's not going to be good.
Yeah, you're probably better off taking some time.
Yeah.
Internally. But like for productivity too, like just make lists and prioritize things.
Checklists are my favorite. Yeah. Even for like simple things that you know you're going to get done. Like I literally made a list this morning, and that's what I've been doing. Even if it's like only one thing I'm accomplishing a day when normally I would accomplish 3 big things. That's okay. I'll make a list of like, unload the dishwasher, which I know I'm going to do, but it just feels good to go back and be like, I did it.
I did it. Yeah. It gives yourself that that little star, the check mark.
Actually, I feel like Torri will have some nice things to say about this. This says, advice for trying to land your dream job of being in the creative industry, having a hard time, sad face. Alexis.
Oh, I said we were going to keep it anonymous. You're saying names now?
Well, only the first name.
Okay, true. No one will know. Hi, Alexis.
Don't say it again. Alexis. Her handle is Alexis153Sparkle.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess my advice, or at least from what I've seen friends go through specifically in the creative industries, is that one, internships are like super powerful. If you can't necessarily get like your dream job right out of college or right off the bat, like, I mean, that's insane. That's like, no one is really doing that anyways. So don't feel bad about that. So just get in the door somewhere, whether that's a small company or a big company or whatever you're trying to kind of looking for. Building that resume is probably the most important part.
Do you ever have things that you look back and you go, whoa, I can't believe I did that?
Yeah.
In terms of like
All my internships.
No, I don't mean in the sense of like, I can't believe I got coffee. I mean on the flip side.
As I did many times.
I mean more on the flip side of like I think back to moments when I was younger and maybe questionably more fearless of like, oh, I just would cold call, email / call people.
Right.
I demand to meet with you / like take you out for a dinner or whatever.
Yeah.
To like network. And I look back and I go, I don't even think I would have, you know, the balls to do that now.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends. I think more, I speak to this more. I was at the beginning of my career. I really had no reason for anyone to accept me / welcome me.
Right.
And I would just be like, hey, I'm Jaclyn. This is what I'm doing. Can we take a meeting? Can I even like make it before YouTube and all that, like the makeup world as well? Like I would just email people and be like, hey, I saw you're a makeup artist on this. I would love to like learn from you. And just like, I would just straight up email all these people and like, I don't know. It just seems
you literally never know what you're going to get. Like, I mean, the best quote is the second best answer is no. So like what, you email a bunch of different people and maybe 1 out of the 20 say yes, but like, great. Then you've made that new connection. I think the creative industries are completely that. It's like all relationships. So like, just be bold.
And I think also too, and I think you'll agree, the idea of like, no, you're not too good for any job. I don't care what you've studied, how many other, whatever, how much job experience you have, you're not better than any type of job, especially in the creative fields. There is like, you have
so
to
true.
Up to it. And I
went from lead of a TV show to coffee deliverer. So really just
on set of another show.
So check your ego, guys.
That's actually one of the biggest things I would say in the creative industry. So many egos. It's learning how to navigate that.
Yeah. And being aware like that people, being aware of your own and that people are watching you.
Oh yeah. Word travels fast. Small industry. Don't be a bad person.
True.
It'll get out if you're a bad person. How to make new friends and becoming your best self. Love the pod. Thank you, Sydney.
Yo, guys, I also have to just do a quick shout out because the Poddy Talk Love has transferred over to TikTok and people will comment on my TikTok videos, hi, I love Poddy Talk. And I'm like, whoa, we out here. Like, hey, this is such a great crossover.
Business meeting. I saw this other podcast do a TikTok.
Yeah.
Like just like their cut downs on TikTok and it was like fire. And I was like, oh, engaged. I was like, oh, I should watch this podcast. I'm like, whoa, should we do that?
How do you even do that?
What do you mean?
Like it would just be our typical cut down, but then.
Yeah, that's what they basically were doing. They just had, I was like, should we have a Poddy Talk TikTok? With
right, because we already it's already 1 minute, so.
Yeah. We can discuss later.
Yeah, guys, comment below if you'd like
TikTok,
to cross over onto.
It's also weird. I mean, you assume TikTok is a younger demo, so I'm surprised that they're listening to Poddy Talk.
I love it. I love it.
Wait,
sorry, what was the question? Yeah.
Making new friends and becoming your best self. I always say making friends as an adult is kind of hard.
No new friends, man. I'm not out here. No, I'm kidding. I feel like I am always kind of making friends. I really do think that
way too. But I think it's because if you're actively trying to make friends, that's when it doesn't happen. It's like if you're just out, you have a common interest. Oh, I like joined this volleyball group, and then you have another friend, or you're there, you don't know anyone, you're forced to talk to people. They're like, oh, you like volleyball too. Be my partner in volleyball. Like I've made random friends that way. And I like having pockets of different friends from all different like parts of my life.
Yeah, no, totally. I also just think that like once you have a core group of friends, naturally, I mean, at least if your friends are nice and inclusive, you're going to naturally become friends with their friends.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it branches out in so many directions. It's like Adam's friends or like Mackenzie's friends. It's like the list just goes on.
Well, even for me, like your friends, vice versa, like all of your groups kind of overlap. And I like that because obviously we've got something in common. So I'm sure that you and my friend will have something in common, you know?
Right.
So
we didn't give a tip. Yeah.
We already have a solid friend.
So that wasn't helpful.
Sydney, I'm so sorry. Okay, what about becoming your best self? Because I think if you are becoming your best self and are putting out a good vibe, your vibe attracts your tribe, you know?
I mean, for sure. Also, people have been into like Bumble BFF and stuff. Like that's kind of interesting.
I think that's a really cool concept. I've never actually tried it, but
I had tried it once at an event. Like I was working with Bumble and it was like a part of it that I was going to meet someone on the app, and I did, and it was actually really fun. So I mean, it's a cool way that I think it's interesting because I know obviously a lot of couples that have met on, you know, these dating apps, Bumble, Tinder, whatever, that have like literally gotten married from it. Like, so you definitely know people can make real connections. And I think that's an interesting concept to then like spin it on its head and just be like, this is someone you would never otherwise meet, but maybe they could add some really cool value to your life as a friend. Like, I think that's interesting.
It's so funny that I can't think of.
What?
Do you feel like people, like strangers, have been more chatty than ever, especially given the times? Or is this
engage. No.
Wow. Okay. So I'm normally not someone, like, I don't normally talk to strangers. Even if there's like a funny moment at a coffee shop, like I'll just like do my own thing. Like I'm not.
Oh, you just mean when you're like out and about and like.
Yes. I feel like people have been so chatty.
Yeah, they are.
So desperate for like attention, not attention, like human connection. Bro, people have been saying the craziest things. Like, I'll be walking on the street and someone will be like, oh, did you see that? Like, I'm like, what are you saying? Like, people have been so insane. Like, I don't know. That's kind of the art that is lost. I feel like in modern day, we're so used to, I'm just not my problem. I'm not going to talk about it. Like, I'm doing my own thing. Whereas because we're also now deprived of human connection, we're much more like, I mean, I'm not as chatty, but it has been kind of funny.
It was so funny that you say that. So I didn't quite understand what you meant at the beginning, but yes, I think people naturally are like a bit bored with themselves. So they're trying to like talk to other people.
Yeah.
So I called my, my car dealership. I don't know, I had to set up some servicing or whatever. This man, so how's the week going? What's the weather like where you are? Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. What do you do for work? It's like, bro, like I'm here to call about my car. Like this is supposed to be a 5-second conversation.
Cute, though. It's kind of.
He was super friendly, but it's just funny.
Okay, so it is a general thing. Cause I was like, I swear probably the past like 2 weeks, there's probably been at least 8 situations, which 8 feels fairly frequent for only leaving the house once a day. Like the funniest things. So Sydney, now is the time. People are desperate. You can probably slide into anyone's DMs and become friends with them.
No, so true.
Oh, I love this question. Do you have any good questions?
Yeah.
Okay. Hit me with one.
So any advice for a person entering college?
Don't go.
Don't go?
I'm kidding.
Oh, I was like, what? Are you trying to give me a cue?
I'm kidding. School's great.
Well, Jaclyn didn't go to college, so this
I
is
did.
not fair.
No, I literally went to college. I didn't.
No, you're right. She didn't go to
college.
University. She went to college, not university.
I had the best time. That was my favorite time of school ever in my life.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my advice would just be, look, it's really weird right now because if you're going into first year university, could you imagine that?
I would actually not go. I would defer.
I think I would too.
You're paying the same amount of money, but you minus all the fun stuff about school. You're not
literally like you're not living in res. Like you're probably not even going in person in lectures. You probably are doing everything online.
No, well, I've heard. I think it's Queens and there was another university as well that have already decided their first semester is going to be all online.
McMaster.
First year.
It's McMaster. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
If it's your first year, I think that's like. I mean, any year it definitely sucks, but especially if it's your first year, that was the one thing that I was really sad about when I was struggling to decide to go to university or go to makeup school, whatever. And I was like, I wanted that first experience of like, especially my first year. So if that was all taken away, oh my God, I would have been so upset.
Yeah, I would have been furious, like to put it lightly. No, it would have been so crappy. Like I feel bad for people going through that right now, but I guess advice would just be like, honestly, try and make the best of it. I had a really good time in university, but again, it's like very circumstantial. You have to hopefully like the program you're in and find your circle of friends. And
well, that's the thing too. I think it's like, be honest with yourself. I think from other friends who've gone to university and things that I've seen, and I'm fortunate that I had this internal debate before I actually went off to university or who was supposed to go off to university. I had this whole conflict of, okay, all my teachers, like you're told, especially in Canada, I feel like it's a little different in the States. Like in the States, they call college and university the same thing. Whereas in Canada, it's a different thing. Like you get you get a diploma out of university and then a certificate out of college. Like it's a different like level and structure and timing and all that stuff. So typically if you're in advanced classes in high school or honor classes, you're told that's the university path. And then what are the middle classes normally called?
What are you talking about?
Did you not have the different levels in high school of like classes you could take?
No, it was very much like you're all going to university. You're all in this.
Oh, okay. Well, I went to a public school. So there was like 3 different levels of classes you could pick. I forget what they're called. One was like
AP classes, like things like that.
But we didn't call them that. We would call it, I think, advanced. Basically, it was like university.
Wait, what? So they're like, okay, smart people, you're taking these classes.
Well, kind of. But you would pick what class you would want to be in, and
interesting.
They would be lined up with prerequisites that you would need for university if you were taking university level classes.
Okay.
I don't know if all schools do that, but I was in public school. We only had one high school, so maybe they just catered to everyone.
Yeah, I went to public school, but anyways, it doesn't matter.
Whatever. But yeah, so I was obviously all in all the classes to go to university, thinking I would be going to university, and that was
right.
Like, here. If you're doing well in school, you should be going to university. And I had this like whole internal debate / struggle thinking of like, okay, everyone's saying I should be university, I should be taking these classes, I had a great scholarship, all the things were saying go to university, take this program.
Yeah.
I knew my heart wasn't in it, and that was the biggest like I was like, I know I'm gonna be miserable, but everyone else is saying go, 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 you know?
Yeah.
So I think you need to be honest with yourself. And I've seen so many friends go through programs that they knew they hated the first month in. And I'm not saying drop out after the first month. That's not it at all. But it's okay if you're halfway through your program and you want to switch your major or any, and I'm sure you have something to speak to that as well. But I think you truly have to be honest with yourself and don't do something just because your friends are doing it or because it's going to be more fun and because you're going to hate yourself at the end. Let's be real.
Yeah, I think like the biggest thing really is like program choice. Like don't do like, it's like you hear the people that are like, oh my God, I'm going to business school just to be a business student. It's like,
or I don't know what to do, so I'm going to take this program because everyone takes this program who doesn't know what they want to do, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like you can waste a lot of time doing that.
Yeah.
So it's more just like maybe force yourself, do some inner dialogue and just be like, what do I enjoy? What do I want to learn and get out of this? And yeah.
Be honest with yourself. It's a lot of money. Speaking of money, this person says, money saving tips. How can I save money? This is a topic I love. Anyone?
Stop going online to shop.
Yeah. I also just, I avoid all that stuff. I don't have those apps of all like the Zara app with the new like trends. Cause I know if I see it, I'll want things. And I just try to refuse that stuff. I mean, of course, if you like need a new pair of jeans, buy a new pair of jeans because you need them to fit better kind of thing. Like I get that, but I try to limit a lot of my fun shopping, like spending, fun spending.
Right.
Like travel, I'm happy to spend on. Experience-based things, I'm happy to like spend on. But material things I do, like I go, whoa, take a second, Jaclyn. And then I just like,
do you need this?
Yeah.
Do you need this? Yeah, I don't know. I think also it's like back to the lists, but like you could make lists of like things that are a priority in terms of purchase. Like during this time in quarantine, I was like very specific about like not spending money on like random things. Cause like, you know how everyone on TikTok was like falling into these like boxes hauls and like,
Amazon. Yeah. Like, I need to buy them all. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, like stop buying stupid shit on Amazon. Seriously, it's like not it. I mean, some of the stuff on Amazon is legit, but I feel like a lot of those things are just literally for the views. So like I try not to like even engage.
Yeah. Actually, I heard this one financial advice YouTube channel talking about the idea of people's spending habits and if it's in cash versus if it's like a debit card or credit card.
That people spend less.
Well, apparently people spend less if it's cash because
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Money transaction. But I feel like I'm the complete opposite. If I have cash, I don't even think of that as money because like I never have cash. If I have it on me, like if I see a number on my banking app, I'm like, okay, that's how much money I have.
Right.
If I'm using my debit card, I'll see it go down.
Right.
So to me, I think about those purchases more. Whereas when I have cash, I'm way more free with it. I'm like, oh, I got cash. I'll spend it on this.
Oh yeah, I disagree. I feel like I'm way more like, well, actually, I don't know. That's true. Maybe I guess I think about it both ways.
I feel like
I don't really use cash.
Same.
Like
that's why when I have it, I think of it like oh, that's bonus money. Like I never have cash, so I just.
That's true, actually. Like whenever I have just like cash that came from someone else or was like paying me back for something, I'm not like, oh my God, my money is back to me. I'm like, oh, here's some bonus money.
Yes, right?
Yeah, I don't know. But that's a weird concept.
I also think too, it's a lot of people don't know when to like kind of step back and be like, hey, this is out of my budget. Like set a budget and actually hold yourself accountable.
Nobody does. It seems like nobody in our generation knows how to do that.
Yeah, I would say it feels like majority of people don't do that. And I think it's easy to get caught up in like the lifestyle of it all. If you see all your friends doing it, even if all your friends are like, oh, I'm broke too, whatever, like who cares? It's only 20 more bucks. But it's like, there's at one point where you're going to have to, again, be honest with yourself and be like, is that how I want to be spending my money? What do I want in 5 years? I think goal setting is important.
Yeah. And like the
picture.
The consumption thing is interesting too. Cause it's like, where is this gonna go? Like, for example, like where is that item gonna live in your household? Like, is it relevant enough to be welcomed into your home? Like, I feel like I've started to think about that more. Like after spending so much time cleaning out my place during quarantine and just like being like, this is so random. Like I don't need this. I don't want this.
Totally.
It makes you like second guess every purchase because you're like, oh, I don't want that like cluttering up my shit, or like it's just like a waste
Number
of space.
one tip, move into a small house so you're forced to practice
declutter.
But then also too, speaking of shopping, that reminded me of something that I heard that was a really good tip, and I do try to implement it. If it's one new item and it's one old item out.
Yeah.
So you have to think when you're shopping, do I like this better than everything I own? Like, would I be willing to part with the shirt that I already own to have this?
Yeah.
So, and that also helps keep like your collection more curated. But I think honestly, it's like, it's hard. Like consumerism is so a part of our culture, and we're bombarded with ads 24/7. We contribute to that, half of the things that we do. And I get that and I recognize it, but it's just like, take a step back and going, you know what? The fun, actually, this is a great tip. Do you ever just go to a website and just fill up your shopping cart with everything you would buy if you had unlimited money, and you see it all in your shopping cart? You get that like fun of it, like, oh, I'm shopping, and then you just exit out of the page.
Yeah, totally.
These are probably not that great of tips, but
well, the thing that's really funny about online shopping is like I don't find it nearly as entertaining as actually shopping. Like I really enjoy shopping as a person, but it's like more because that's like me time. Like I like to go to a mall and I like to browse and I like to get a coffee and walk around and like people watch and like see some of the new styles. And like, it's not to say that I'll go and spend money at the mall every time I go, but I like the experience and I like feeling things and like trying things on, or especially if like a store is like super organized and clean, like when Zara has their like new launches and it's not a sale disaster and it's not disgusting. Yeah. Like I'm so down for that. Like I like want to see the new collection. I want to like go and feel it and envision like, oh, I can wear this gown to this, or like, you know, like I like that side of fashion.
Yeah, no, there's definitely like a fun to it.
And I feel like the online experience doesn't do that for me, which is why it's easier for me to like walk away. And I feel like that what the internet gives me is like quality pieces over quantity of pieces. Like that's sort of the difference. Like I feel like some of the things I bought in quarantine are more like investment pieces, or like something like a Dyson. Like I would go online and be like, okay, I want to buy my Dyson, or like my nice like Jennifer Fisher hoops that I bought. It's like,
how have you been liking those, by the way?
Chef's kiss. Absolutely beautiful. They like, they're so weightless, and like every single earring ever gives me like black ears, or like I get a reaction. Nothing. I don't even know they're there. I can sleep with them on. Like it's actually stunning. Stunning news.
That is
so
good.
Love them. But yeah, it's like things like that. Like she's in New York. I would not be able to get my hands on them even if I was in Toronto. So I don't mind doing those purchases online, but yeah, we got to be conscious of the money, guys. It's a global pandemic. So
you know,
we just got to be good.
Tor, do you have any other good advice questions on yours?
Yeah. How did you guys find your condos? Any advice for buying one? Toronto's really expensive.
I hated the process, not gonna lie.
I kind of love
you go first. I know, you go first. You have a good story.
Yeah, I really liked the process. I mean, I was really lucky. My parents were just like very involved and supportive about the whole thing. And it was like the timing was right. Like I had lived with roommates for 4 years. So I was very ready for my own space, both like mentally and like physically. I just wanted my own space. I didn't need to be sharing space anymore, but I felt like I had taken all the like good lessons away from sharing space and having a roommate all those years. And I would definitely force my kids to do it as well, because I think it's important to like know those like things. So that part of my life was great, but I was definitely ready to move on. And it was just like kind of, I don't know, it was kind of fun. Like I really liked seeing what was out there. I liked visiting different units. The one I finally found, it was just not it. It wasn't it, because it wasn't like the way it is now. But my parents were like, just see beyond, like just see like the structure, like the bare bones of it all, like everything else can be changed. So by the time I moved in, that's sort of what I did. I just renovated it and like made it my own, which is pretty cool. Like that for my first home, I kind of got to put my own little touch on it, I guess. Yeah. But in terms of like the expensiveness of it, like, yeah, like you have to be ready. It's like, I mean, we've talked about this. It's like the biggest commitment we've made as humans thus far in our lives. Like in terms of,
being smart with your money as well. I think you need to only do it when you're ready. Like going into giant financial debt is not worth it. That stress is going to outweigh the fun of having your own place.
It's so true.
So really just have to be smart with your timing and speak to a financial advisor if you you know, feel overwhelmed or don't know which route to go. But yeah, I think there's a lot of things, at least being able to speak to someone, if it's not your parents or someone in your life, talk to an adult or a homeowner that you trust and ask for their advice, because my parents, I'm lucky that they had experience with a lot of different real estate. And they made me think of things when I was looking that I would have never thought of. Like, hey, does this building have 24-hour security? Do they allow Airbnbs? Is it a half hotel, half residence? Like, all those things will in some way be a pro or a con. And those are less of just like, oh, it's a pretty unit kind of thing.
Yeah.
So those
did you look at any that were hotels? Like, I know Toronto is kind of like infamous for having half resident, half hotel.
Yeah. Well, one that I was really interested in, which ended up getting backdated with a lot of construction. I originally was like, oh, I want to live in the Nobu, which is going to be half residence, half hotel. But then it ended up getting pushed in terms of
timing,
breaking ground. Exactly. And I think it was like also very bougie and like hard to get. Like, I don't even think I got, my real estate agent had requested like access to the first round of, I don't even think we got in, to be honest.
Yeah.
But at one point I wasn't opposed to it, but then again, pros and cons can be pros is it's maintained like a hotel. You have the perks of, you know, constant, or
pools and
well, even food to like room service, a lot of, even at like the Prince Edward, I know, which is half residence. My friend had lived in there at one point, and he could get room service or dry cleaning or turn down service like any time he wanted. Right. Of course, there's a fee for that, but then the cons are all of your amenities are shared with hotel guests.
I know. Something about that. Something about like something about the shared space that I was. Because I like the concept, right? It's like you grow up watching Gossip Girl, you understand things like
Zach and Cody living in a hotel.
Everyone is out here living in hotels on these damn shows. But what's so interesting, or like when you actually are a homeowner and you realize the things that are super important to you, it's like, I'm like, if I see someone in my building that I've never seen before, I'm like, do you live here? Like, what are you doing? Are you safe? Like, did you check in at security? Like, I feel like there's a sense of, like, you want that safety, you want that care, you want to like feel neighborly, you want like that.
Well, it's your home. You want to, exactly. You want
100%. And something about a hotel starts to be like, then I'm like, I don't like that just random people are coming in and out every day. You never have any sense of like real security, especially because like sketchy things happen at hotels.
Totally.
So.
Well, I also just think, just like the care. If I'm at a hotel, like I'm not saying people are reckless when they go to hotels, but you're like, oh, it's a hotel, whatever.
Yeah.
Or like I'm in the pool, like I'll leave like my dirty towels here, whatever. Like I'm on vacation.
Totally.
Whereas if it's your own, like your condo, of course you're going to be extra conscious and like, I just feel like people will be much more careless, and it's like, this is my home.
I know. No, I agree with that. And like, I know how I've been, even at like, if you pick, I mean, it's closed now, so I can say this, but like the Thompson rooftop, it's like, I've had parties there, I've partied there, and it's like, I can't imagine that 3 doors down, someone lives there full time. I'm like, bro, I'm sorry. I've probably ruined your night's sleep. Like,
actually, I just thought of an actual like tangible piece of advice though, for anyone listening that still wants advice. The app House Sigma is the best real estate app I've ever used. My real estate agent recommended that I use it. And it's so dope because you can look at past listings, past sales, previous owners of like individual units. It's honestly an amazing database. And now obsessed. Like every day I go on it, like something is wrong with me just because I like to see like what other condos have come up and like get a
she's deleted Zara from her phone, but she's looking at $1 million homes every day.
You know, just like vision board kind of things. But that app is incredible. So, and also too,
is it all public, like public knowledge?
It is. Yeah. You can even see like my unit and like the pictures, like they're still in this database, which is, and it tells you like,
I'd love to see the hideous photos of mine before it was.
Well, you can even see like the previous owners, what they had bought it for, what their photo, like it's a crazy database. I'll show you how to use it after. It's so cool.
I'm going to look up what this man's originally bought this condo for.
Oh, I've looked up every unit in my building and I'm like, how do they decorate it? Like, it's just so interesting.
How much money did this man make from me?
No, literally. You'll see, it'll be like listing price because it'll show you like in 2009 it was built.
But it'll tell sold price? Typically it can't.
Yeah.
How?
It'll say, it literally just has it on there. Mine is right. So
I'm so curious if it's right. Like, I'd love to like look at like my parents' house and because typically cost of sale is not public.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
At least all the condos that I've been looking at, it has what they have gone for, which is like also just so funny because you can be so nosy and like,
you know? Wait, that's so cool. I'm gonna go on this.
I know.
House Sigma.
House Sigma. Yeah.
So interesting.
Great app.
Any city or just specific to Toronto?
I've only looked in Toronto, but I think I'm assuming it would work everywhere. But yeah. Also, speaking to the note of prices in Toronto, prices are insane in Toronto. And the reality is you might want to look into living outside of Toronto and commuting in every day. Like it's not necessary to live in an expensive city unless your job is here, but then consider commuting. Like I think of my parents. We used to live like an hour and a half outside the city. God bless my dad. He would commute an hour and a half on the train every day. And like he oftentimes would fall asleep on the GO train and then end up taking it back to Toronto. Like, and this is before cell phones or anything, right?
Yeah, that's terrible.
But yeah, again, it's like, you don't need to live the luxe life right away if it's out of like.
No, it's true. And also like to my parents' point, just look at something for the bare bones that it is. Everything else is changeable. Like if it's not the floors you love or if it's not the handles you love.
A coat of paint can work wonders and totally transform
100%. 100%. I have like 7 messages about advice on relationships tips, and maintaining a long-term relationship.
I think that's cute though, because you were just posting a ton of stuff about Adam. That makes sense.
Guys, you gotta love the person. No, I don't know. I think I don't know. You have to be like super patient. Really the advice is this. You have to grow together. There's a lot of people, I think, like in relationships where one person is going, you know, on their like hustle and on their ride and like becoming their best self, and the other person is sort of like clawing on, trying to basically take the ride with them. And I feel like that just doesn't work. And I feel like the success of Adam and my relationship has very much been like we individually have our own successes in our own life. Like something could happen to me tomorrow, and like I know that he would be okay and successful and go on to do fantastic things. Yeah. And I think he would say vice versa to me. It's like you have to be in a relationship where that person is making you better, not like pulling you down, you know?
I also think too, like there's something obviously to be said for natural like charisma with someone and having that connection. But yeah, I think like what Tor was saying, there's so many other factors that might not be as obvious at first, but it's like lifestyle. Like if you guys have a similar way that you live your life and the pace of your life and all that, like I think that's very important too. And that can pull apart or bring people closer together that, you know, maybe have everything else, all the checks and all the other boxes. But it's like, if you're not on the same path and the same timeline, like I've heard so many people of being like, oh, they're never going to want kids. So that's a huge deal breaker. Like there's so many different flags that might become red flags or might be, you know, good things. So
it's true. I think you just have to like
be on the same wavelength.
Yeah, you have to be on the same wavelength. You have to be patient. You have to try and make them better. Like I feel like there's a lot of couples that are like really toxic and like really like they're not actually supportive of each other, and there's jealousy and animosity and resentment and like all of those terrible things. And I just feel like you have to actually be a cheerleader, like you and want to be like naturally. Totally. And like I say that all the time, like if I met someone and they were asking about my boyfriend, like I would literally hype him up so much, and I'd be like, he literally is going to win an Oscar in 2 years. Like, because I think if you're not talking about your person like that, then why are you dating them?
Yeah, you know what I actually hate?
What?
Like when I see couples do this, there's a difference, let me be clear, like of someone like ranting to a best friend or like whatever, like sharing your troubles or whatever. That's a different thing. But when couples like kind of talk down about their significant other and like to other groups of people and be like, oh my God, so-and-so is so annoying. He keeps on doing this. It's driving me like, and I guess less topical than that, but like, it's like, I want them to defend me when I'm not there. Like, I don't want them to be like, you know, I don't know. I hate when I see that. And that's so common.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. I think also everyone's different. Like for me, like opposites attract. Like Adam and I are very different people. Like really, like he's really chill and I'm really crazy.
You guys maybe are more opposite, but I think you guys at your core.
No, intuitively we are very similar. Like we have all the same morals, which like that really matters, and like similar lifestyles and similar passions and all of that. But like in terms of personality traits, like he's a little bit more like introverted, I'm really extroverted. And I was saying to him the other day, I'm like, it's just so crazy to me. Like, I feel like I'm always talking. And he's like, yeah, but you would hate if I was always talking. It's like, you do that. So it's good that I'm mostly
the balance,
like I'm balancing you out. And I'm like, no, it's so true. Like you funny. I don't know. You gotta just don't waste your time. Like don't date someone that's not your vibe.
Not the vibe. This question here says, help, quarantine food snacking will not end. How do I stop snacking and eating so many sweets?
Yo, I have not been snacking at all. I don't know what it is.
I can't relate.
I'm like a meal and then I'm done. Like I eat a meal. I probably eat 2 meals a day. I'm not even on 3. I'm on 2.
No, I kind of feel that. There's something also, I think, to be said for being a lot more like well, being less active. It's like I'm also just less hungry.
No, it's true. I'm honestly like, by the time I wake up and like have a coffee and have like gotten my morning's work done, it's like noon before I have any food. Totally. So it's like I'm intermittent fasting by literally accident because I have nothing to do. Mm-hmm. And then I have breakfast, and every day I eat eggs smashed up with a bagel. I can't stop myself. I'm obsessed with it. And then I cook dinner, and that's it. Mm-hmm. Like, it's crazy.
What though? I was actually talking about this with someone the other day, talking about when you live in like a household of people and how much those food choices impact you. And it's so true. I think back to when I used to live like in my family home, and I would never like, I'm not a late night snacker, especially. And if my, brother was grabbing like a bag of chips, like I'm not even a chip person, but I'm like, oh, I'll have a few chips, like whatever, things like that, just because you're around it. Whereas when you're independent or living on your own, you're much more like in control of your food choices and more in tune with what your body actually wants or craves. And
that's really true.
Because I feel lucky that at this time I don't have like, if I want to bake a banana bread, I'll make a banana bread, but at least not like there's not other people in my household that are like throwing all these foods at me,
No, it's true. And even Adam can influence that, because like typically I'm alone for most of the day, but if he's over at night and then it's like 9 p.m. and we're watching a movie, and then he's like, oh, let's have popcorn, but it's like typically I wouldn't grab popcorn.
Yeah.
But it's like you're only having it for that like social aspect that someone else is eating.
Totally.
But no, it's definitely true. And yeah, whenever I'm with my family, there's just like too much food. It's like
I know. Actually, I was gonna ask you, how are the Chloe Ting workouts going?
Good. Yeah, I like her workouts, but I was actually dying at someone on TikTok. I thought it was so funny. They're like, Chloe Ting is like literally the smartest person ever, because her videos are like literally linking to the same videos over and over and over, like as a program. So they just get more and more and more and more views.
Yeah.
And I've seen like some backlash actually against some of her workouts, which I thought was kind of interesting. Yeah. Like, and to be fair, like this wasn't my own personal feedback. I just like saw other people on TikTok kind of like throwing shade at like her approach and like kind of some of the things she talks about and does. And I thought that was kind of interesting.
Wait, in what way? I haven't heard this. I thought like the whole internet was praising her for keeping us like sane during quarantine.
I don't know. And I wish I remembered more specifics. Like I don't think I favorited the video or anything, because it wasn't like, I wasn't
save that.
Yeah, like it wasn't that memorable or anything, but it was just this guy basically being like, I think Chloe Ting talking about fitness is actually the funniest thing ever. She's just sort of like uneducated on the topic and makes like blanket statements that are like not necessarily it. Well, and I thought that was kind of interesting. I mean, he was more specific about his feedback, but I mean, that it was a negative review. Let's put it that way.
I was thinking though, being a fitness influencer is kind of like absolutely fire. If you're thinking strategically, just in terms of, and I'm the same way, I'm very habitual. If I do a workout that I like, I'm going to go back to that person's page and like find a similar workout or the same workout. So it's like, yeah, her videos are getting like literally like millions. 15 million views on just like a very simple, like, we know how to like
5-minute abs. It's like,
that's the thing. It's not like revolutionary like techniques. It's just like, okay, do your setups for 40 seconds now. Do your like, but there is something that's so great about like the format and how it works. And she's living her life.
And hers is very organized. I will say, like, that's something I think she's really killed, is like the strategy behind like the way people are navigating her site to get to different workouts. Like she's done that seamlessly, which obviously has led to a lot of her success. But anyways, I like her workouts. A friend of ours just sent me a message for this Core Plus one though, like another sort of.
We're doing one tonight. If you want to join in our Zoom with Court and Meg, we're going to do it later tonight. I don't know if you've worked out yet. Chloe. Yeah, we're doing her like 30 like day programs. We've been holding each other accountable. So like every day we've been doing the workouts. And they're pretty digestible, because it's like a normal.
They're pretty short,
minutes, so it's like only 25-30 minutes of.
I know, they're actually pretty short. Which I like that. I like that too, because like that's why I always liked F45 and all those, because it's just like quick.
Totally.
But I'm just I think I'm ready to like, I want to go back to Stell, our personal trainer.
Oh my God. I was thinking about it the other day. I cannot believe I'm someone who never goes to the gym and like, well, I mean, hadn't really ever gone to the gym and like lifted weights, things like that. Like I'm very much so like, I'll do classes and we'll go on our runs, but I was never like gym brother, like,
No, totally.
I'm saying the craziest things right now. But yeah, I was like loving that when we were doing that personal training. And I think I was like 2 weeks in feeling incredible. And then of course all of this happened, but
so sad.
I'm so excited. But the thing is, gyms are going to be the last thing to open. So I think we've got a long way away from us.
I know. Because the last thing you want is to like be sweating where someone else is just sweat. It's just, the last like few questions I saw were about just literally, how are you staying healthy in quarantine? Like everyone is asking that. I mean, you got to kind of want it. I know that sounds kind of shitty, but I feel like I've only been staying healthy because I am like actually putting in the effort. Like I go out every day. I do my walk. I like close my exercise ring. I'm very aware of it, and I'm making sure I'm moving my body as much as I possibly can.
Well, I also just get into, like, if I'm having a day where I'm like, oh gosh, like shit's hitting the fan, like I'm like eating a bunch of crap, whatever, like you eventually just get, I mean, I at least get sick and tired of like feeling sick and tired or like feeling gross. Like even yesterday I was making cinnamon buns, which was like a fun adventure. Like I like the experience of it, but I was planning on obviously doing a bunch of little deliveries. Then I was sitting there like licking the icing bowl, and I'm not kidding. I literally made myself sick from just like eating too much sugar and just being a literal like child about it.
Right.
And I was like, I went to bed with like a tummy ache, and I was like, oh, I just feel so crappy. Like I'm not going to do that again. So it's just like you abuse your body enough to the point that it's like, I can't do that anymore.
That's true too. It's like you have to get to a certain place. I mean, I don't know. It's so weird because typically, I mean, I am obviously a runner since we got into our whole like marathon shenanigans. Everyone knows we kind of are into
do you know that we did a half marathon, guys?
Yeah, like we never let anyone live it down. But what's interesting is that like as soon as quarantine started, I literally kid you not, like I can go back on my rings like from my Apple Watch. Like I've just been a runner like all of quarantine. Like I can't explain it. Like walker runner. Like not every day I'm jogging, but like I'm going outside and doing my like long sort of like 31 hour, 1.5 hour like extravaganzas. And like, it just has given me so much like happiness. And I actually will say, I listen to the Views podcast like every day when I go, because I get to go back and listen to old episodes because I started listening way later than when it launched. So I have so many episodes I've never heard, which is like amazing because I can just go back and listen to them. But I was thinking that I'm like, wow, I wish someone did what I do like on my walks, but listens to Poddy. Like that would just give me joy.
Oh my
God. So comment below if you exercise to our podcast because that would just really make my day.
And if you're going on a walk or a run right now, keep going. You've got this.
Yeah, we love
Think that motivated someone? I bet you it motivated one person. One person. Too. And that's all that matters.
I think, are we on Roses and Thorns? Actually, or do you have more?
A lot of them, we're talking about how I feel like body positive at this time. Things talking about, really just people snacking and eating because
that's look cute. Like, get ready. Like, that's how you're going to make yourself feel good.
That's totally it. Yeah. If you feel like, I know it's totally like linked that if I'm in my sweatpants all day, I don't have makeup on. I'm not saying like I need to have makeup on to feel pretty, but the act of getting ready and starting my day formally definitely helps me eat structured meals. Like if I'm like being a slob and just grazing in the kitchen, of course you're going to not feel as good as
100%. I got Adam an Apple Watch for
I saw that.
Yeah, for his birthday. He also just like he needed it. Like I was like, how fun. Like now I can walkie-talkie with him. It's just so necessary. You know what I'm saying?
Walkie-talkies. Oh, we love that.
I try to walkie-talkie you all the time and you're never on.
Oh, I probably have it turned off.
I go, Jaclyn. You never answer.
Way. Remember that one day when we were figuring it out? You're like, what's happening?
That scared me. I fell asleep on the couch and it like woke me up. And I was like, it's Jaclyn's voice like coming through the Apple Watch. It was terrifying.
It just makes so much sense for us.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, let's do some roses and thorns because
nice.
We love doing roses and thorns. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
Sure. Okay. Thorn is, it's been like a little bit busy. And I know we're in quarantine, but I've just felt busy, which it's not like, that's not bad. I know this whole episode I was talking about how that's great. But like, I feel like my stuff will kind of settle down like on Saturday. And apparently the weather's supposed to be great this weekend. So I'm looking forward to just maybe like doing another park hang or like going uptown and like sitting out on the lawn, getting a tan. Like I just need a tan. Like maybe that's the real thorn is that I'm just so not tan right now.
I know what you mean. Like I just want to have a day where I lay out, but I'm like, I don't really get sun exposure the way that like I'm facing. So
does your balcony?
It does at like 5 p.m. But then
but it's not the strongest
sun.
I
want like a 12 p.m.
That's what I get. I have from 9 to noon, I have solid sun. So I am every day.
Yeah, you could do it on your balcony.
Yeah, so now I have my chairs out there. So not like I was out there. I slept at Adam's last night, but I got home at like 10:30 and I sat out there from like 10:30 to 12:30 and I was like, oh, that, and I just can work. Like I have my emails.
Totally.
I can
You can be productive.
So nice. So I'm going to do that this
that
weekend.
For your tour.
So that's also a rose that pulls into a rose. Then another rose is, yesterday was so fun. Had such a good little birthday for Adam. I loved his DJ set. I literally went insane dancing. It was so crazy, but like good energy.
I loved it.
And then a rosebud is hopefully by my birthday, we're out of quarantine.
Oh my God. What if Torchella? Well, we have to make Torchella happen. And Torchella will not be a virtual event.
It can't be. That would be savagery. I would rather cancel it than have it be virtual. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you mean.
I think by August we can have a group of people together. I can't see that. But the thing is, it's like
cut two.
I know, cut two. But then also, no one's actually like, are people going to be comfortable going to Airbnbs and things like that? Like, I don't know. It's going to be a weird, gradual process getting back. I don't think I want to be in someone's home.
I kind of feel the same. I don't like. It's like I wouldn't want to be in a hotel right now. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, roses and thorns. A thorn is, oh my gosh, Kay, I had a literal heat attack yesterday. I thought I was like going through menopause or something. It was really just the sun was beating in my house and I hadn't turned on my air conditioner yet because I was like, I just want to have fresh air. Like, I don't need to turn on the air conditioner.
Oh God.
Working and like I was like trying to get things done and I was started like sweating and then you know when I get like hot, I get like frustrated and like sweating. And I was like, ah! And then I obviously just turned on the air conditioning. But for like an hour or two, I was like suffering. I was like, Jaclyn, it's fine. Like,
why would you make yourself suffer like this?
I don't know. It was like a really weird moment that I was like, oh, just turn on the air conditioner. But I let myself have a really low moment.
Wow.
Air conditioner is currently on right now.
That's nice.
Circulation.
I've been boosting my air conditioner for the last like 3 weeks. I haven't been on it. I don't know.
We got there in the end. A rose is actually speaking of productivity, not that it's a productivity contest, but super productive week. I feel like I've been getting major things off my to-do list.
Not that it's a productivity contest.
But I'm winning. No, I had a really productive day yesterday and even today. I got like a bunch of things done. Nice. Which felt really good. Another rose is, oh my gosh, I got the best watermelon that I've had probably in like a year, I would say. Like, really? Like good watermelon is just like so
fresh.
Fire.
Yeah.
Bad watermelon is like,
it's watermelon season now, right? This is like the beginning. Yeah. Summer is watermelon season.
Tasted insane. So it just like made me so happy. That's like my favorite fruit. And it made me feel like I was
love watermelon.
Summer. Yeah, no, it was.
But I don't like cutting watermelon. I like when watermelon is pre-cut for me.
I know what you mean. Mine was pre-cut actually, and it was fire.
Oh, that's what I want.
And then something I'm looking forward to. What am I on? It's Thursday today, which is crazy.
Oh, it is. We never shoot on Thursday. I wasn't even thinking about that.
I'm looking forward to the weekend.
Yeah.
Just like a shut off of emails and just.
I think the weather's going to be perfect. Like I'm living this weekend. I'm going in the sun. I'm going to be tan.
No, I've been biking. Have I been talking to you about this? I pulled up my bike finally and I've been enjoying some bike rides. So maybe I'll go on a nice bike ride this weekend.
The bike scene has been really insane actually in Toronto. No, it has. Like, well, they shut Lakeshore down last weekend and the bikes were crazy.
Yeah, my mom was doing it. She's like, she texted me at 6 a.m. I wake up to this text. I wake up at like 10:30. I was like totally sleeping in. She's like, babe, just want to let you know the Lakeshore is shut down for bikers. If you want to bike today, today's the day. She's like, I'm going on a bike right now. I'm like, Mom, it's 6 a.m. But like,
it was actually like annoying to me. Like as someone who doesn't ride a bike, it was so overwhelming. I was just trying to walk down the street, like do my little classic walk. There were so many bells and bikes and oh my God, I was like, get out of here, y'all.
Well, that's the thing. If you're on a bike, you're like, fuck cars, fuck pedestrians, like everyone's being annoying. Like, and I'm the exact same way. But then when I'm in a car, I'm like, fuck the bikers. Why are they coming up into my lane?
Exactly.
Like, it just depends what your current method of transportation is, and then you'll hate everyone else.
Yeah, and I'm never a biker. I'm always either driving or a pedestrian, so I have no temper.
You always hate the bikers.
No temper for the people like you.
That's too funny. Well, this is a fun episode. Thanks everyone who sent in their advice questions.
Yeah,
nice
thank
to go back and hear the people of Poddy talk. And I don't know if this, I mean, don't blame us if this wasn't good advice. This is probably not that great of advice, but
hey, we did our very, very best. Listening.
Woo! Guys, this has been another episode of Poddy Talk, the podcast where
we shit talk ourselves.
It is Jack
and Thor.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.